G'day Marvel Future Fight Gamers, VaderG here. Today we're going to have a bit of a look at Cyclops and how he performs in Alliance Battle Extreme. But firstly, let's have a minute silence for Magneto. Poor old Magneto served us well. Alright, here we go, minute silence. Cut that shit. We're not doing that, Magneto. You've served your purpose, old fella. You've got a CTP back on you. Seems like he's been around for the longest time in Blast Villain Alliance Battle Extreme, Magneto. Have a bit of a love-hate relationship with him. He certainly scores well. I used to, I did fine with him, but just that proc just meant multiple runs over and over. Okay, so let's have a look at Cyclops in team here. And what we've got is, I've got him with teamed up here with Clow. For the team passive, for Cloud's team passive, which gives, I think it's 30% crit damage, which allows me to get Cyclops' crit damage to 200% pretty damn easily. One thing to think about with Cyclops is he doesn't have any self buffs on his skills, besides obviously his uniform bonus, which is pretty amazing for his energy damage, and obviously his own passive as well. If you have a bunch of Odin's blessings or have naturally high crit damage from your actual cards, then you could consider using Emma Frost with, not with this uni, but with her villain uni, with her Phoenix 5 uniform, and you'll actually get an additional team up here of, I believe it's this one, the 5.4% all attack for telepathic counseling, which, if you've got high crit damage from your cards, or you have a bunch of Odin's blessings with crit damage on them, it might well pay off actually going down that route. Okay, so let's have a bit of a look at my Cyclops in team, not in that team, in the team that I actually use in the Alliance battle. Where am I? Here we go. Right now, I have to admit, like I mentioned before, I was a bit concerned with building him, for the simple fact that he doesn't have any self buffs. But to be perfectly honest, I found that he kind of maxed all his stats pretty easily. And in hindsight, if I had my time back again, maybe I wouldn't have gone for 5 Euro slots fully amped. Maybe I could have gone for gears 1 and 2, 5 amp slots, gear 3 and 4, maybe 4 amp slots. But that's something to sort of think about for you guys out there. For his ISO set, well, for his gameplay in general, he needs attack speed. There's no doubt about that. So if you have low attack speed from your cards, like I do, I've got 113, 114%, then you will want Power of Angry Hulk. So no doubt about that, you want Power of Angry Hulk if you have low attack speed from cards. If you have higher attack speed from cards, then you can get away with either Overdrive or Hawkeye even, if you have high defense penetration from your cards. Okay, so what are we going to have a look at here? We'll have a quick look at his skills. So with most tier 3s, and this is, there's no sort of secret about this, what it's all about is really proccing at the right time on your tier 3 skills. So we saw with Magneto, we kind of wanted to have his proc delayed and have the proc coming later in the tier 3 skill, so to take advantage of his damage over time. But with most other units, you kind of really wanting to jam that tier 3 skill into the proc, and Cyclops is absolutely no different to that. Okay, so the other thing that we want to do with Cyclops is obviously we want to identify what skill has the longest cooldown, which is his third skill, and we want to make sure we're on top of that skill all the time. So as soon as it's coming off cooldown, we want to be hitting that skill. And that's for the simple fact that we want to get as many tier 3s into our run as possible. In regards to highest DPS skills, his fifth skill, so this is pretty typical of actually most characters. His fifth skill is probably the most damaging. His 4 skill and his 2 skill gives some really nice burst damage as well. With his, he has no issue with survivability between his 5th skill and his 2nd skill, with his guard hits there, and he has his heal naturally on his 5th skill as well. He doesn't get hurt, so it's not, you can face tank all you want. He's pretty easy. He's actually pretty easy to play. His 3rd skill is just a long iframe, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't really do much in terms of damage, particularly at the start of the skill, and so you'll see us cancelling this 3rd skill the majority of the time. Like I said, the second skill has nice burst damage. Fifth skill is a great skill for clearing mobs. Nice burst damage, just a great all-round skill. And fourth skill has nice AoE on it. The one skill is pretty useless. I'm not just going to say that. It's kind of a pretty useless skill, but you can see there that the sidestep, and it has an iframe on it. It can be useful in certain scenarios where you're either trying to dodge a meteor or even dodge a beast attack. Now the thing with the thing with Cyclops, and the thing you'll notice throughout the Alliance battle run, he gets guard broken quite a bit. So you can, that's something that I'll have to work on. This sort of the run that I'm going to show you, it was probably after about 30 minutes worth of practice. It was after a really long day at work. I'd just gotten back off a flight, got home, said good day to the wife and kids, kind of did my dad stuff and my family duties, and then just by that time it was pretty damn late and I didn't really have too much time to practice. But you'll see that I get guard broken a fair bit during the run, well, at least a few times, and I'm sure that as I get used to him and as I get better playing with Cyclops, that that I'll reduce those hits that I'll cop off the beast there. In regards to this, in regards to my rotation that I'm looking at here, it may vary for you depending on your device speed, depending on your attack speed from cards. Attack speed is very big in lots of units, particularly units like this where you're really trying to get as many tier 3s in as possible. Attack speed is a big deal. So this rotation may not suit every device or every card set that's out there. So that's all I'm going to say. And as always, just want a quick shout out to the guys in Awesome Mix Volume 1 for sharing their info, allowing me to log a pretty damn good score on pretty quick notice with not a huge amount of practice. And the other thing I kind of want to say is that with the actual recorded run, the final score was without, I think, I've got quite a few Odin's Blessings on him now. What have I got? So 5, 8, 9 Odin's Blessings, so he's pretty wild up. I think at the time of doing this run I had 6, so room for improvement. The other thing that I will give a quick shout out to is with his uniform option, I don't actually have his second uniform option, which will probably give around about 500 extra energy attack once I get that uniform, that Ant-Man uniform. And I am holding out for a uniform sale, and Netmarble, if you're watching, please put a uniform sale up, because I feel like it's been quite some time since there's been a full uniform sale, and I really don't want to pay 1750 crystals for that Ant-Man uniform. So give me a hand, please. CTPrage equipped. Alright guys, that's pretty well all I want to kind of go through at the prelims of the video. You can see how he's pretty easy to cap his stats here. You can see that on screen. Plenty of stats over there. Crit rate 7% over, crit damage 4%. So if I get more Odin's Blessings with energy attack crit damage, then maybe I'll look at changing team later on to away from Clow and move to a slightly different team. Alright guys, let's get into the run. Like I said, thanks to the guys in Awesome Mix Volume 1, and yeah, hope you enjoy and hope it helps. See ya, bye.